Today's message is Exodus chapter 14, and the message is entitled When God Says Move Forward. We see here at the top of the page in verse 15 that God comes to Moses. The situation is this: the Egyptians are pursuing the Israelites after they've left Egypt. Pharaoh changes his mind for the umpteenth time and now decides, I'm going to chase after the Israelites. And the Israelites know that the Egyptians are behind them and the Red Sea is in front of them. So let's read verses 15 to 18. Then the Lord said to Moses, why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on or move forward. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water, so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, so they will go in after them, and I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. Here we see there is a time to pray and a time to move. Here we see God is not rebuking prayer, but reminding Moses that faith must move from words to steps. Israel had been crying out in terror, but now God calls them to go forward. In this translation it says, move on. James 2:17 says, faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. Philippians 2:13, for it's God who works in you both to will and to do or for his good pleasure. Sometimes God answers by opening the door, but expects us to walk through it. Prayer prepares us, but obedience activates God's miracle. Is there an area where I've been praying, but God is nudging me to take the next step? Second point is God often uses simple obedience to release mighty power. God tells Moses in verse 16, lift up your staff or your rod, stretch your hand out over the sea. It wasn't the rod that was magical, it was simply the object God chose to work through. The miracle was God, but he invited Moses to participate. 1 Corinthians 1:27 says, God has chosen the weak things of the world to put to shame the mighty. 2 Corinthians 4 verse 7, we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that the surpassing power or the excellency of the power belongs to God. God uses ordinary obedience, ordinary people to show extraordinary power. In this case, the rod that Moses is told to hold up may be a prayer, a step of faith, an apology, an act of courage. And the challenge is, what small step of obedience can I take today that God may use in a big way? Final point, God works through your life as a testimony to others. Verse 18, we read, the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. The miracle wasn't only for Israel's deliverance, it was also a revelation of God's power to the watching world and the Egyptians. Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Ephesians 3 verse 10, Paul, writing to the church, says that through the church the wisdom of God might be made known to rulers and authorities in the heavenly realms. Our victories, our deliverances, our breakthroughs speak loudly to others, both seen and unseen. God uses your story to reveal himself. And so on reflection, who might see God through the way I respond to challenges? So as we close like Israel at the Red Sea, you may feel trapped with no way forward, but God's word still stands. Do not be afraid. Stand firm and move on or go forward. God parts seas, not for those who stand still in fear, but for those who trust him enough to take the next step. And I think it was David Livingstone who said, I'll go anywhere with God as long as I'm going forward. And we're about to see an amazing miracle as the wall was a sea, a wall of water on the right hand and the left, verse 22. But they had to take that step first and move forward with God. Thank you for listening.